Some that I can think of off the top of my head, Jackie Chan is one from growing up. I feel like nowadays there's quite a bit more celebrities who are Asian American, or at least like roles open to Asian American actors and actresses. So like I'm thinking of people like Mindy Kaling, I'm thinking of Aziz Ansari, I'm thinking of Hari Kondabolu. Those are all South Asian American actors and actresses, but that's where my mind goes.
John Cho. That's all I can get right now at the moment.
God, I mean, Asian American? I mean, the person that immediately comes up to me is probably like Lucy Liu, in terms of someone that I watched on screen, like, you know, a long time ago.
Lucy Liu and Charlie's Angels.
Maybe we need some time to mend this broken trust.
A movie or TV show that has a majority Asian cast or lead? Oh boy, leads, no leads, only supporting roles like Star Trek.
Fresh Off the Boat.
The only thing I can think of right now is Fresh Off the Boat.
TV shows I know now, there's that one called Fresh Off the Boat or Off the Boat. I haven't seen it.
You in the BIG? Yeah, man. Come sit with us. Oh, what is this? It's Chinese food. Get it out of here. Ying Ming's eating worms. I need white people lunch.
What is this store so excited about? I miss the Taiwanese markets back in DC. They make me feel so calm.
Tortilla chip, free sample.
This is free. Okay.
And then there was the Mindy Project. There were a couple of things on Netflix, like Aziz Ansari's show, Master of None. Yeah, but I feel like it's still pretty rare. I feel like nowadays you might find more shows where they'll put in like one actor or actress of like there'll be like one Latino character or one Asian American or one African American, but they're so afraid of like this concept of like, oh, if we put more than one, then it'll turn into a Asian show or a black show or a Latino show, and it's like there's no such thing. It's just a show, and it's gonna be either good or bad.
I really want us to start up this trust.
Mainstream Asian American musician? Oh boy. I don't know this one.
I think Hayley Kiyoko is one.
Musical artists? I can't think of any at the top of my head.
Oh my gosh, I can't even think of one. It's so sad. Like, I feel like when I was young, there was this Indian guy who was in No Doubt, and that was like a big deal because like, ooh, there's an Indian guy in No Doubt.
Musician? Does Bruno Mars count?
Whitewashing in media, like the recent Dragon Ball Z movie, if you want to call it Dragon Ball Z, or Avatar: The Last Airbender movie, where like the main roles were white people.
But some believe there is still hope.
I always knew you returned. You are the only one who can control all the elements and bring peace to our world.
Or Ghost in the Shell, where Scarlett Johansson played an Asian American woman or Asian woman.
Everyone around me, they feel connected to something. Connected to something I'm not.
There's a lot of whitewashing that's happening in current films. There's a good amount, but those are the ones that I can think of at the moment.
I know that in the past there were a lot of instances, for example, like I think it's Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Mr. Goraitre, someday, Mr. Goraitre. I am definitely this time going to call in the police. Yeah, well, that's more better.
There was this movie Short Circuit in the 80s that my parents and I loved because there was this Indian character who was played by a white guy in brown face. And it's like we were so starved for like Indians on TV that we would take anything, even like a white guy pretending to be a brown guy.
In terms of my encounters with whitewashing roles, I think the sad truth is that it doesn't faze me. And I think a part of that has to do with the fact that I don't see that many people playing like typical Asian American roles.
Again, like my lens is focused on like South Asian Americans, but I can remember like when I was a kid, if like an Indian person showed up on TV, everyone would call everyone in town and be like, oh my God, Channel 7, 5 p.m., there's gonna be an Indian guy on Jeopardy, or like, oh my God, this commercial, look out for this commercial. It was like a huge deal.
I feel like representation is like really important, especially in media. Growing up, you want to see things. Given like Aladdin was one of my favorite movies because I could, you know, be like, oh, I'm Jasmine, you know. I think that's so important growing up as a kid, seeing people like you in media, because it makes you feel more normal and not forced to be in European standards of beauty or have to speak English or anything like that.
In the older time, I guess, I'm thinking like pre-1990s, I feel like it was almost always that like Asian characters were kind of like the butt of the jokes. Not just Asian, but any minority. It was kind of like the jokes were at their expense. So like, oh, their accent, oh, they can't drive, oh, they own 7-Elevens, oh, they're so funny. And I feel like after that, a lot nowadays, I feel like most of the roles are like doctor, scientist, terrorist.
Definitely it's hard to find representation in media about like the Asian culture, whether it's casting or just putting us in like a smaller, even like smaller roles. Like we hardly ever hear our languages.
You don't really notice the lack of, but you notice the presence of.
I definitely have felt like there hasn't been that much representation of Asian Americans in media. I think the biggest evidence of that was when Fresh Off the Boat actually was announced. And I remember thinking to myself about how many mixed feelings I had about what that show was going to represent without watching it yet, because I was unsure of how it was going to come off.
You know, I've never really thought about it that much, but you know, with the recent release of Black Panther and Love, Simon, you know, that gave a lot of representation to people that haven't been represented that much. And you know, apparently according to these people, that you know, it really like struck with them. It really brought out emotions with them. So I feel like that could be a really important aspect of representation. But to me, I don't feel like it matters that much to me.
A lot of places or websites like YouTube really helped broadcast a lot of Asian filmmakers, musicians, and really kind of tackle this issue of representation in media.
I think that yes, Asian Americans are being more represented in media now. I think that anything's better than zero.
They like to portray the stereotypes more often.
Asian characters would be portrayed as fighters or usually like really weak characters who are doing like cheap labor.
I feel like Asians are always portrayed as traditional. They're not necessarily put in a more modern light. Like all of us have to have like male, female roles, and you're never gonna see like Asian girls really rise up and stuff and like really take power in situations.
Just like play on the stereotypes too much. So I think that's why people think it's okay for like to make fun of people for that.
I want to say the butt of many jokes in terms of whether it's the accent, the Asian accent, or something rather.
Saying that we're gonna be the smartest kids, or saying stuff like, oh, we have to get all A's and you know we eat certain things, or it's like these like little stereotypes all like get put into media and are like fed in, whether it's through comedians or in TV shows and stuff.
I would love to see more Indian and South Asian characters being portrayed as just people. Like they can have any kind of job, they can have any kind of life situation. It doesn't have to be like, oh, the Indian character is the doctor in this scene. It could be like, hi, I'm a teacher. Like, they could be a teacher. They don't have to be a cab driver. They could own a bakery. Like, it doesn't have to stick to the stereotypes at this point. I think we're ready to move beyond that.
I mean, if you want to portray Asians in the media as Asians, just have them be like how you portray white people or black people or anyone. Just how they are normally as people.
I think in reality, it's really just recognizing that Asian Americans are Americans as well.
When you said cooking videos, I was like, it's housewife research.
Yeah, the housewife research. I am a desperate housewife. Get me on that TV show.
At the, what is that place called? Planes.
That was when Bella was born. Yeah.
Damn, girl. I said mention me, not shade me. I'm just kidding.
Or I'm just stupid, one of those. Or both. But yeah, go on.
Both, yeah.
I just read this really interesting article. I read a lot of articles. It was
I don't think I can do that.
Do you have something to say? 'Cause the feelings in my mind cannot escape. Would you ever take me? 'Cause my heart is